I had a stroke because of a hemorrhage that developed in my brain.
I got a call from my mother at somewhere around 1 o'clock in the morning, telling me that something bad had happened, that Dad had had a stroke. The next 3 weeks were pretty much a blur of surgery to stop the bleeding in his brain.
The general had a pretty severe stroke that really was fairly large, required surgery to remove some of the bleeding that had happened, and had significant weakness on the left side of his body.
Sometimes it gets worse, so you get the first hit of it, and then it can increase in the intensity of it.
I was paralyzed. I still am on the left side. Probably the most maddening thing for me was that I've suddenly found myself not able to drive, not able to go wherever I wanted to go. That impacts my ability to get dressed, my ability to take care of myself, my ability to help my wife with this house.
The changes with a stroke tend to be sometimes physical, sometimes weakness comes out of that, and inability to control your muscles on the opposite side of the body. But there also can be changes in personality, changes in visual spatial skills.
Reading difficulties or scanning or attention, things that you may not necessarily think of, maybe more abstract thinking.
Or changes in communication and language also.
In many of those cases, you are dealing with people who don't remember how to be the person they were before. You're not dealing with a broken bone. You're dealing with a truly broken person in many of those cases. We started to get our brains wrapped around where to go for therapy. A few places bubbled up in the Pacific Northwest as really being the top tier in the country. There was something about Harborview that we realized that's where he had to go.
And everyone we've asked and wherever we talked, they said you ought to try to get transferred to Harborview.
For someone like the general, he wanted to return to a very active and involved lifestyle in the community and in his responsibilities.
We were all very optimistic for recovery, but I think also somewhat guarded, knowing that he would have some residual, most likely permanent deficits or problems related to this stroke.
He gave us all a challenge, because I think his expectation of what he wanted to get done was very high, and what he needed to get back to required a high level of skill.
What Harborview does is to help them attain those coping skills, help them get through this injury that's going to change their life.
When patients first come to rehab, their first day, they'll quite possibly meet 10 to 15 new faces, and those are all members of their treatment team who will each be working on a specific goal for them or a specific part of their therapy to help them achieve their goals.
We just want what's best for the patient's family, and to help them regain any kind of independence that they can.
It's a nice collaborative effort where everybody brings in kind of different areas of expertise, and then we all try to bring those together to create one big masterpiece.
We really work a lot with the patient, but also with the family to help them make that transition, to help them cope with what has happened and get themselves ready to accept their loved one in a slightly different way with a slightly different level of function, and to be able to care for them at home.
And it was really making us realize that we were a part of the process, and realizing how integrated their entire program was. You have your doctors, you have the nurses, you have your therapists, you have all of these people, and realizing that the program relied on every single one of them operating in lockstep.
And I've been enormously impressed by their competence and by their caring.
The key thing about Harborview is that the patient comes first.
The minute you come into the door, that doesn't matter where you come from, how much money you have, if you have no money, that you're going to get the best care that you can possibly get.
I think it takes a special person to work at Harborview. It's a challenging and very fast-paced environment, but the people that do work here are very passionate about what they do.
The level of commitment of the staff is unique, and I'm not sure you could find it anywhere else.
It's so wonderful to be here and to be working with other people that share this mission.
I could not have had better care than I had at Harborview.
We could not have asked for more. We really couldn't have.
My welfare was their main concern. And whatever success I've achieved in my therapy from then on, I'm sure it's to a large extent based upon the good start that I had at Harborview. I am deeply grateful for what they did for me.
To everyone who's in this field who has the strength, the dedication, and the commitment to do it, thank you. It's truly a noble field, and it's done wonders for our family. You know, it's got my dad back. It's amazing. It truly is.